We've gotten used to perfect rows of shiny vegetables. But wild plants are different. These scrappy greens push up through sidewalks and garden beds. They're still living the way nature designed them. No selective breeding, no warehouse storage, no sitting on a truck for a week before we take a bite. Many are richer in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and even protein than the veggies you pay for. In this video, we're going to explore the science behind the nutritional gap. We'll look at everything from deep taproots pulling up rare minerals to the genetic makeup of cultivated crops that has, unfortunately, been diluted over time. By the end, you'll look at the weeds in your backyard not as a nuisance, but as a potential treasure trove. And you'll understand exactly why that tiny sprig of dandelion is nutritionally superior to an expensive bag of organic spinach. Ready to dive in? But first, if you love exploring the world one bite at a time, hit that subscribe button. Wild plants have one job: survival. They aren't pampered, they aren't protected, no one waters them, and their seeds aren't started in a warm greenhouse. Every day they battle insects, drought, wind, poor soil, and hungry animals. To survive, they've evolved to produce powerful defense compounds like phytonutrients, antioxidants, and flavonoids. These chemicals don't just protect plants, they support your health, reducing inflammation, strengthening immunity, and helping your cells handle stress. Cultivated vegetables, on the other hand, are bred for a completely different purpose: to look good in the produce section. We've selected them for sweetness, bigger leaves, softer texture, uniform shapes, even the ability to stay green during global transport. Sure, they're appealing to shoppers, but that appeal isn't without compromise. In breeding veggies to be mild, sweet, and market-friendly, we've stripped away many of the bitter medicinal compounds that wild plants still carry in abundance. And their constant fight for survival has left them with a very particular set of skills, natural tools to help them gather, store, and concentrate nutrients in ways cultivated crops simply can't. And those tools don't just make wild plants tougher, they make them nutritional heavyweights. Which brings us to reason number 2, greater nutrient density. The constant battle for survival comes with a measurable payoff. Wild foods often contain more essential nutrients per gram than almost anything you can buy in a store. We're not talking small differences either. Studies show that plants like lambsquarters and purslane can have 2 or 3 times the iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin C of common cultivated greens like spinach or kale. Why? It comes down to concentration. Cultivated crops are bred to be big, fast, and watery, prioritizing bulk over density. Think of it like a 20-ounce soda versus a shot of espresso. One is diluted, one is quite concentrated. Wild plants don't waste energy producing huge, fast-growing leaves. They put their resources into nutrient-rich tissue built to survive stress and ultimately to reproduce. And that intense nutrient concentration naturally leads us to reason number 3, the secret weapon of many wild plants. If survival gives wild plants their particular set of skills, then their roots are the ultimate tool. Many wild plants, think dandelion, burdock, and curlydock, send taproots deep into the soil, far deeper than typical garden vegetables. These roots aren't just for stability, they act like natural mineral probes, drawing up calcium, magnesium, iron, and other trace elements that shallow-rooted crops simply can't reach. It's one reason why the greens you see poking up through cracks in the pavement or along riverbanks are such nutritional powerhouses. Their roots essentially mine hidden minerals from the soil, concentrating nutrients into their leaves and stems. Cultivated vegetables, bred for fast growth and uniformity, tend to have shallower root systems and often grow in fertilized or nutrient-depleted soils. Even if they look lush above the ground, much of their potential nutritional value remains untapped below. And from there, we move into reason number 4, less genetic dilution, the evolutionary safeguard that helps wild plants maintain their nutrient-rich profiles. Another secret behind wild plants' impressive nutrition? Their untouched genetics. Over the last century, cultivated crops have been bred for traits like speed, uniformity, sweetness, and shelf life. While these traits make produce look nice in stores, they often come at the cost of nutrient density. As yields increase, the concentration of vitamins and minerals in the plants can decline. Wild plants, on the other hand, haven't been domesticated. Their genetics are intact, honed over many thousands of years to survive environmental stress. Sure, many wild species are cosmopolitan, growing wherever humans go, so they've adapted to our presence and environments, but that change is environmental, not genetic engineering. They are still operating on their original survival-tested blueprint. That means the leaves, roots, and stems you forage are carrying the same nutrient-rich genetics their ancestors relied on to thrive. In other words, the scrappy greens in your backyard maintain ancient, survival-tested nutrition, concentrating vitamins, minerals, and medicinal compounds efficiently, rather than being bred for visual appeal or mass production. Sure, we could genetically modify crops to be more nutrient-dense, but in a system that prizes profit over people, fast-growing, transport-friendly, uniform vegetables are far more profitable than tiny, hyper-nutritious leaves. Nature didn't have to compromise. Capitalism always does. This genetic integrity doesn't just affect vitamins and minerals, it also influences protein quality, mineral uptake, and medicinal compounds, which leads perfectly into reason number 5, nutritional indicators for soil. Wild plants don't just survive, they also read the soil. Many weeds act like natural bioindicators, accumulating specific minerals from the ground and hinting at what's present beneath our feet. Take clover, for example. It fixes nitrogen, enriching the soil around it. Other plants, like lambsquarters or miner's lettuce, will pull up trace minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and iron, effectively storing them in their leaves for us to eat. In essence, some weeds are like little nutrient scouts, signaling both the health of the soil and offering a concentrated source of those same nutrients. Cultivated crops, by contrast, often grow in soil that has been depleted, fertilized artificially, and heavily managed. They don't have to adapt. They're handed their nutrition. That's one reason wild plants often punch far above their weight in minerals, despite growing in less than perfect conditions. These naturally informed soil sensors also tie directly into another key advantage of wild foods: better protein. That brings us to reason number 6, higher proteins and essential amino acids. You probably don't think of leafy greens as a protein source, but some wild plants pack a punch. Weeds like amaranth, lambsquarters, and stinging nettle can have protein levels that exceed cultivated vegetables, and they often provide a more complete profile of essential amino acids. Unlike most store-bought greens, which are mostly water and fiber, wild plants invest their energy into nutrient-dense tissues, making every leaf, stem, and sprout more meaningful on your plate. While a head of lettuce may look tasty in your salad bowl, a handful of these wild greens is a concentrated superfood shot, delivering protein, vitamins, minerals, and medicinal compounds all at once. And that leads us to our final reason, a hidden advantage of wild plants that almost no cultivated crop can match. Reason number 7. One of the simplest but most powerful advantages of wild plants is how quickly they go from soil to plate. Unlike store-bought produce, which often spends days or even weeks traveling from farm to warehouse to grocery store, foraged greens can be eaten almost immediately after harvesting. That matters because many vitamins, especially vitamin C and certain B vitamins, start breaking down as soon as the plant is picked. Eating wild greens straight from the ground means you're getting the full spectrum of nutrients, exactly as nature intended. It's freshness you can taste, see, and feel in your body. Of course, you can absolutely get that same benefit from growing your own vegetables at home, especially heirloom varieties, lettuce, kale, or spinach that haven't been bred for shelf life or global transport. But for many of us, foraging offers an instant, ready-made source of peak nutrition. No gardening required. You can even scatter some of the wild seeds in your garden if you're feeling adventurous. Plants like common mallow and purslane make excellent naturally green ground cover, nutritious and low maintenance. So next time you spot dandelion, purslane, or lambsquarters popping up in your yard or along a trail, remember, you are not looking at weeds. You are looking at nutritional powerhouses packed with phytonutrients, minerals, protein, and vitamins that store-bought vegetables can't touch. And there you have it. 7 reasons wild plants almost always outshine store-bought vegetables in nutrition. From their daily battle for survival to concentrated vitamins, deep roots, intact genetics, soil sensing abilities, protein-packed leaves, and peak freshness, these scrappy greens are doing what industrial agriculture rarely can, putting real nutrition first. If you enjoyed this dive into wild nutrition, hit subscribe and join a growing community of foragers, gardeners, and curious eaters who believe that food should nourish people, not just stock portfolios. Drop a comment to share your favorite wild greens and give this video a like if you're ready to start seeing weeds as the treasures they are. If you like this video, check out wild plants that have more calcium than dairy on the left. And if you want to support what I do, you can find me on Ko-Fi or Substack. Links in the description. And as always, eat the weeds.